There are several examples of cheese making process. One example is cheddar cheese. So let us see the manufacturing process of cheddar cheese. The basic steps are have been already explained in the last lecture. These are the specific steps for the making of cheddar cheese. First step is the whole milk is clarified and pasteurized. Then the milk is warmed to 31 degrees Celsius and then inoculated with 0.5% active culture of lactic acid bacteria, that is Streptococcus cremoris and Streptococcus lactis specifically. Then this inoculated milk is held at 31 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes for bacterial activity, and then coagulants are added. Coagulant means renin, which are responsible for the coagulation or precipitation of casein. So this coagulation process is completed just within 25 to 30 minutes. Then the coagulum is cut into cubes of curd. This will facilitate the release of whey of or water and the curd mixture with continuous agitation. It is warm. That means this is the step of cooking or heating. The heating temperature is 38 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Then the whey is allowed to drain from the curds, and then this is the step of concern or the specific step which is used for the making of cheddar cheese. That is, the curd is piled against the long sides of vat. The trench curds are allowed to mat for 15 minutes after the drainage of whey is completed. Then the trench curds are cut into blocks. These blocks are cut into triangular shape, about 10 centimeter in thickness. After resting one side for 15 minutes, the blocks are then turned and again allowed to rest, after which they are piled too high and again turned every 15 minutes. So this step is repeated. Again, the final step, that is, then it is piled three high for last 30 minutes. So this piling and resting process, it is allowed to be continued. This process is called as cheddaring, which is responsible for the development of textural characteristics in cheese. So this process is born from or it is originated from village called as cheddar, and that is why this type of cheese is called as cheddar cheese. Then the next step is the slabs of the curd are fed into curd mill that forms the granular particles, which then these smaller pieces of curd are ready for salting process. So here in the salting process is a use of dry salt. So dry salt is sprinkled over the curd and it is continuously stirred for next 30 minutes. Then the curds are placed in the form called as hoops or metal form of desired shape and size. Hoop is internally covered with cloth. Hoops filled with curd are placed on a horizontal hydraulic press and pressure is applied for approximately 18 hours. Then cheese is covered with wax and moved to storage for at 2 to 16 degrees Celsius with 85% of relative humidity. And this is the step of ripening or maturation. Rainless cheddar is not covered with wax. The ripening or maturation period is of 3 months to 1 year, or it may be more. Ripened cheese cut into consumer size portions, packed and distributed. One of the most important step in this process is the changes that occurs during the ripening process. Ripening process, as stated earlier, it is responsible for the development of characteristic flavor, taste, and it is responsible for the development of textural characteristics in cheese. Let us see what changes that does happens during this ripening process. Fresh cheddar cheese contain number of starter culture bacteria, that is Streptococcus lactis and Streptococcus cremoris. But these bacteria they die within 2 to 8 weeks as the cheese ripens. During this time, bacteria produce or liberate proteolytic and lipolytic enzymes. These enzymes are very important for the modification that play a role in modifying the body and flavor of cheese. Lactobacilli also begin to grow in cheese, which is several weeks old, that is 3 to 6 months old cheese. They survive for longer periods in cheese. Lactobacilli, such as Lactobacillus casei, mostly it is present in cheese. Cheddar cheese, Lactococcus, Lactobacillus brevis, Lactobacillus bulgaricus, Lactobacillus lactis, Lactobacillus fermenti, Acidophilus delbrueckii, etc. All these lactic acid bacteria are responsible for the development of flavor. These are normally present in cheese factory environment. Lactobacillus casei can produce hydrogen sulfide gas, that is H2S, in small amounts, and it is needed for the development of flavor to or it imparts flavor to cheese. Micrococci, in addition to cheddar cheese, also contributes to desirable flavor. Micrococcus, several species of Micrococcus are responsible for playing this important role. Thus, when cheese ripens or matures, various compounds are produced through microbial action that includes carbonyl compounds, nitrogenous and sulfur compounds, fatty acids, alcohols, salt, water, and immodified fractions of cheese. All these components are responsible for imparting textural and flavored characteristics to cheese. Fresh cheese has a firm and elastic body, whereas as the cheese ripens, there is reduction in firmness and elasticity after 2 to 4 weeks of ripening at 7 degrees Celsius.